What's up, YouTube? Today on the channel, we're building around one of the more underrated cards in the game. That's Namora. We're using some of the new cards to do so, and what I think is a pretty fun shell, a little different from what you may have seen with some of these cards, but let's get into the elevator pitch. So this is an on-reveal deck, but it's trying to do the Namora thing when it can, meaning your early game is trying to put one card in two different lanes, and then Wong, Namora, Odin is your general plan. The good thing about this deck is it has a lot of different ways to get power into lanes. It has a lot of ways to buff cards and then use them, like with Lasher, Herbie, Clea. All these cards love getting buffed. And even if you don't have Namora, you have Ironheart, which alongside things like Astral Projection, Absorbing Man, Odin, Wong, can still put out a ton of power, especially with the change to hit 2 cards at 3 power each. It makes a big difference because a lot of times you're playing Ironheart on 3. So that's the pitch. We're using Namora, we're using Ironheart, we're buffing up a bunch of glass cannons and seeing if we can take it down. Before we dive into the card by card, if you like the videos, if you like the decks, if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. Trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. We got a little while to go. We're around 600, but you guys blew me away getting to 500 and already up to 6. So would appreciate it just so I can keep the channel going. But let's get started with the first card in the deck, and that is Agony. This is a card that I enjoy playing. I play it a lot in the Nimrod style decks, but this is the first time that I've played it in a Namora deck, and it's actually really good with Clea specifically. So let's talk about Clea. Of course, Agony on its own, is good for buffing things like Lasher and Herbie, but with Clea, I found it to be super strong. Turn 1, Turn 2, you get Clea down, you get the flames going right away, and then from there, you're hopefully buffing it up more with Ironheart and Namora. Once you get multiple flames going, especially with things like locations of Sinister London, things that are going to, start to multiply that, -3, and then, of course, alongside Wong, cool thing about flames is it won't take up a spot. So when you're trying to keep one card in a lane for Namora, you can flames before you Namora, and no harm, no foul. You still only have one card in the lane that you're trying to hit with Namora. So Clea really does a good job in this deck. Sometimes you get extra energy. A lot of times we're pretty tight on curve, but with the help of things like Herbie, you can play those flames alongside. Lasher, just looking for some early game cards that take buffs well, and Lasher is one of them. When this card gets up to like a 211, it's basically a 222 when you get the -11 on the other side, and obviously that's strong. It's susceptible to things like Shang-Chi and Shadow King, but that's kind of the conceit with this entire deck. It's going to be kind of fragile to cards like that, and you just have to be aware and run when you need to. Mr. Fantastic for First Steps. That is a mouthful. We're going to have to come up with a way as a community to distinguish between these two cards, but this particular version of Mr. Fantastic, as you know, is fantastic. I mean, he's all over the meta right now. In this deck, even though he doesn't wear buffs particularly well, he is handing them out. So him hitting Clea in your hand is just going to give you free flames. Him hitting a Wong and turning it into a card you can play on 3 is obviously massive in this particular build. So this card is just incidentally good and good specifically in this style of deck. Herbie, one of the other new cards. This deck is definitely not very budget friendly because it's got all of these more recent cards to come out, but Herbie is just, turns out, a really good 2-drop at holding buffs. So obviously he can double his power, and that's great, but all of the other things in the deck are going to help you at different times. It's a lot like Nico Minoru in that sense. Sometimes you don't know when you're going to need that extra energy, but it pops up at just the right time. The thing with Herbie we're not usually doing in this deck is using the rock activation because we're trying to keep just one card on the lane, but every now and then you're going for an Ironheart win, and it's okay to just have that 2-6, 2-7. That's totally fine. Astral Projection, I have really been enjoying this card in the deck. There are a number of amazing hits, and it can allow you to play an Odin before turn 6 and then also play Odin on turn 6. That's obviously the best play with it, but even sneaky things like it hitting, Flames. I mean, Flames is a 1-cost card, but sometimes the way you're timing things out, it makes sense to do. And it can be strong to play that card twice. You need the negative power on 2 locations. In general, though, the ability to have a card, as I mentioned with Flames of the Faultine, that goes away when you need to keep just 1 card in a lane for Namora is very underrated. So the banishment actually comes in handy there. Then you've got Ironheart. If you don't see Namora, you obviously need some way to get your crazy buffs going with Wong, and Ironheart fits that bill. As I mentioned before, I think the buff to be giving 2 cards plus 3 power is much preferable to spreading that out to 3 cards, because most of the time you don't have 3 cards, especially in this deck when you're playing 1 card on a lane, 1 card on a lane, and then Ironheart. So that's a good buff in general. And it's nice to be able to play this card again, especially in light of the show coming out, which I have not seen yet, but I am looking forward to. Cosmo. I like Cosmo as a potential card for receiving Namora buffs, because then it's unable to be Shang-Chi'd, and that's strong. That was the original idea in this deck, trying to put things like Colossus in here that can't be Shang'd. And I think while that is good, you generally would rather have something like a Lasher. But Cosmo stayed in the deck. It can be good just for sniping, especially because you're going to have priority a lot late game for sniping disruptive plays. You can even, once you've gotten a ton of buffs on your cards that you have Namora'd, you can play Cosmo on turn 6, not play Odin, and just protect from a Shang. Especially if they snap, they're feeling like they're going to take out your giant card. Well, you have priority probably. You have Cosmo. You can shut that down and sometimes win games that way. Wong, this card often eats Red Guardians and Enchantress, but it is the card that makes the deck really go. When you get Wong down, and then Namora, and then Odin, it just gets kind of out of hand. Even with Ironheart, that gets crazy. Originally, I had Mystique in here too, but it doesn't really time out unless you happen to get a friendly Mr. Fantastic buff on Wong that you can actually play all those cards. You need help, and I find it not to be worth it, not consistent enough. And honestly, the Wong and then all these activations happening on their own, even without the Mystique, is strong enough on its own. Absorbing Man, it's just another way to double up on all these buffs. It's cool because sometimes you only have 3 energy and you can't play Absorbing Man, but then you have Astral Projection, which can hit your Absorbing Man and then double up one of your honor reveals. So that's pretty strong. And this card just is in here because it's an honor reveal deck. Namora, not much more to say here, but that plus 5 power is a lot, and it adds up. And the body itself, a 5/7, very good. I mean, that's gonna sometimes help you win the Wong lane, which normally you wouldn't think was gonna happen, but Wong being a 4/2, but that 7, it boosts it up, and this card is just really fun to play, and I'm enjoying it. And finally, Odin. It's like your end game finisher to really go back, re-trigger Wong, then Wong re-triggers this. You get Ironheart, Namora. It just goes big, and I enjoy it. Odin's great. But that is the deck. Let's go ahead and get one last look at it before we get into the gameplay. Thanks for listening to all of the rambling, and enjoy these games. Nice to get our Herbie down early. Or Mr. Fantastic's better. Bounce is crazy. I think we play it over here. Leave this lane open for Wong. This guarantees, even with nonsense, we get a couple turns of going off. Limbo. So we have no way to interact with locations. So on our part, that's staying there. Thinking going here with Herbie for now. Okay, so they got a lot of stuff going on their end. Ooh, Asteroid M is brutal. Okay, so if we activated Herbie, next turn we'd have 6. I don't think that's really moving the needle, although with that we could... No, we can still just Lasher and Astral Projection next turn. So let's wait. We're just hoping not to see Odin. Oh, Absorbing Man's also not great. Herbie's got buffs going, which means that the only two left are the Rock, which we don't want, and Double Power, which we do want, so I think we just wait. Next turn we Namora. Okay, that's pretty good actually. So this is double power. So let's go Namora, Astral Projection, activate Herbie. If we had priority, I'd consider activating Lasher too. But it's really not going to matter. We can save that for another turn. There's the Red Guardian, hit the Fantastic, that's awesome. You're hoping not to hit Wong there. This is Agony, which is totally fine. I feel like we're in pretty good shape here, especially because they just clogged up Asteroid M. We do have to be careful about a Shang coming, but we have Cosmo, and we have priority now. Since we have priority, well, we still have turn 7. So I think I want to Absorbing Man. Yeah, we just get the retreat. Okay. Well, we were gonna probably play Cosmo on Herbie, activate Lasher, and that would have been good enough. Okay, let's go Agony here in case we draw Clea and want to play that on it. Washington, D.C. is going to be my Wong, Namora lane. I'd rather get Agony on Herbie. Dream Dimension is not my favorite. Just going to go this route. Wong is the play next turn. Okay. Looking at a destroy deck. Always scary. Okay, we don't want to rock. Let's just play out Wong. Unfortunately, if we draw Namora, we can't play it, thanks to Dream Dimension. Okay, they have a second Venom in their hand now. Okay. Ironheart. So Herbie still has the double power available. I think we'll wait on it. We're going to probably need it. Astral Projection would be real nice, and a cost reduction on Absorbing Man would allow us to play Absorbing Man and then Astral for Odin. Or drawing Namora would be fine. Killmonger, fortunately we didn't play any of our ones. Nice, we got the Absorbing Man. Clea, oh. Well, in that case, it's probably better just Odin. Not gonna win this lane. Cosmo is tempting. So we'd have to play Absorbing Man first for the Iron Heart. And where do we want a Cosmo? I think here, in case they want to play like an Arnhem. Activate this just because. Alright, let's see what happens. Oh, we should have played over here. Okay. That still gets it done. They get our Namora. We get their Surge. They had nothing bigger than 2 at the time. Certainly don't mind Surge. Might even be worth playing in this deck. I'm gonna play Surge. Can always Clea next turn. Or Wong. I think that's worth a snap. We're about to have a lot of power. Alright. So, Clea Ironheart. Just in case they Red Guardian me or something. Or at least get something out of the Wong. Okay. It's just Namora here. So many flames. Okay. Let's just do this. 9. I think I actually want to just potentially win this lane. Let's see if it's enough. I don't know what they could possibly put here. Shadow King we stop. The Absorbing Man on the Shang. Alright, nice. Cosmo worked out there. Alright, so gonna be Lasher next turn. On the off chance they don't play here, we can play Wong next turn. Maybe not, that's okay. Alright. So because we'll want to probably play Namora on turn 5, we'll play Wong on Avengers Compound. Some kind of hammers deck, it seems. So Agony's nice, it can absorb these Ironheart buffs. Alright, so we'll have to be careful about what we play here, but I think Clea is fine. I don't mind giving them that. I'd rather not give them a Herbie or a Cosmo. We don't want to play all our Wong line there. Right, I'll play Herbie in the right because if it ends up being a difficult location, we want to still have a spot like the middle to play Wong, Namora, Ironheart. Okay, so they have either Ironheart or Cosmo. Takes cost, so hopefully not Cosmo. And of course, Onslaught Citadel would have been nice. Let's just play Ironheart in case they do have the Cosmo. Do we want extra energy next turn? So we can play Flames and then Astral Projection and guarantee hit Namora. The worry is that they have our Cosmo and they'll play it middle. We're going to try to wait on Herbie's power doubling. So they did get Cosmo, but they played it on the right, which is kind of surprising. Works out nice, though. There's the double, so we should be good to play Namora, activate. Herbie's kind of protected by the Cosmo. And hopefully we draw Odin. Ancient One, so they have Dalmandala. They can't play it on the speed lane. And they don't have any other ongoings right now. Okay. I'm actually going to play Clea here. The goal is only to have one card out in Tarnax. Obviously, we can't play any of the Wong, Namora stuff there. And I don't want to put Herbie there. I would like to keep Herbie, so we'll see what Clea becomes. It's actually not bad. We could sneak Herbie in there this turn. Well, it wouldn't be Herbie anymore, though, would it? I think that's alright. I'd rather just get something in the Cosmos. Fenris could be relevant. Never know. Let's just play Ironheart. then Absorbing Man, then Namora, then Odin. Or Wong. Like that better. Nothing destroyed or discarded for the opponent yet. Okay, so they don't have a way to interact here anymore, which is nice. They're playing Surfer, it appears. I feel pretty good about this. They're not going to really be able to play much in Crimson Cosmos, you would think. Especially after Sarang. They can play Surfer and Tarnax. But this Odin's going to be really big. And just in case, I don't think there's any way we would get something from Fenris, but let's activate. So that's the video. Thanks for watching all that gameplay. I hope you enjoyed it. It's so much fun to play, so give it a shot. We're going to see if we can take this one all the way to Infinite. We're up in the 80s, upper 80s now, so trying to get that Infinite lockdown a little earlier this season so we're not struggling, especially with the new limited time game mode coming up. But thanks for watching so much. If you enjoyed this video, check out some of the other deck guides and the very first episode of my new Marvel Snap podcast with my brother-in-law Trevor is up. It is, or going up, we'll see when it comes, when I actually post it, but it's Snap Crackle Pod, so please enjoy that when it comes up. And thanks for watching the video. Later.